Welcome back to the series where I'm walking around the whole of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly in one trip. In this penultimate episode of the series, I'm walking the last 3 days of coast path around mainland Cornwall, where I start on the Zena and Pendine stretch, which ended up being more like rock climbing, along the St Just coastline with countless ruins of old Cornish mines, through the most southwesterly point of mainland Britain at Land's End, above the famous Minack Theatre at Porthcurno, and back to my hometown in Penzance, where in the next and final episode I'll be getting the Scillonian to walk around the 5 inhabited Isles of Scilly. Good morning. It was a wet one and a windy one last night. I wasn't expecting it to rain, but it rained quite a bit. However, my tent didn't leak, which is good, and it's not raining now, which is also good, and I should be in pretty good stead today. It's not too windy right now, it's not too cold either, so pretty good conditions. Need to get this tent packed up and then we shall be on our way. Okay, the time is 9 o'clock on the dot, which is an okay time. It's the time we've kind of usually been leaving around now. Probably in the future, for reference, should have left a bit earlier recently, because then you get more time walking, especially if you have to charge up places. But for some reason I just can't be asked to get up sometimes, especially when it's been raining and your bag's wet and the rest of it and it's cold. But oh well. Today we're trying to make it to St Just area, fingers crossed, where I do have some family I can stay with possibly, so that's an idea. But yeah, in order to get there, we need to keep on walking, so let's go. It was time to keep walking, and after working my way down the hill I camped on last night, I headed towards the Zena and Pendine stretch, with no coastal towns or shops on the whole of today's path. Something about this stretch of the path is that it's very rocky and very up and down. So if I was ever going to break my ankle or something, it would probably be on this bit. And that would not be very nice a few days from the end of going around Cornwall. So yeah, I've got to be careful, maybe take it slow a bit. It is now raining a bit, not enough to put all the stuff away, but it's worth mentioning. Not very fun. Okay, we put the coat on, we put the cover on the bag, and also we put this camera in this waterproof bag because we don't want the camera to break. That wouldn't be very good now, would it? So yeah, every time I'm not recording I shall put it back in the bag and it should be okay. No sooner than I put all my stuff on, it stopped raining. That's just classic, isn't it? I'm sure it will maybe a bit later on, so I'll keep it all on. It's not too warm or whatever, so yeah, a bit annoying. Heading onwards, I ended up juggling with the rain all day and acquired a new black dot on my camera, which thankfully I notice in a minute, and get rid of the other one that has been on the camera sensor for a whole 18 days since par, which has been a pain to edit out. I didn't get much sleep last night because of the wind and the rain, so right now I'm having some sweets, some biscuits and an energy drink, trying to get me up and going again. It's a bit tired, but yeah, this should sort me out, hopefully, fingers crossed, and be a bit quicker, because I'm kind of slacking at the moment. I think it is just tiredness, but yeah, let's hope these work. Feeling the effects of the sleepless nights, I rounded the corner into the first stone circle of the trip, before heading off on the path that was about to get a whole lot rockier. After 3 hours of walking today, I had made it to Zena Head, followed by the turn-off for Zena Village. But I was determined to carry on forward, with only 2 nights left until I'd be back at home. So I continued on the path, and kept my eye out for any mermaids said to be around. With the mix of puddles and rocks, this stretch was quite hard on my feet, but the views made it bearable. This is Gurnard's Head, a prominent headland that is supposed to look like the head of a Gurnard fish.
5.5.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long one.
5.25.
It was in fact 5.25 miles until Pendine Lighthouse, and after passing Gurnard's Head I could see all the way down the next foggy corner and up the hills in the distance.
Surprisingly, this is the first place in the whole day so far I've had internet, so I've just sent a few messages and whatnot, so now we're back on the route.
After almost getting nibbled by a horse, I was now turning the corner into the next cove of Porthmere.
I just stubbed my toe again. It wasn't bad at first, but now it's like I might lose a toe. I'm gonna be toeless.
With granite scattered everywhere, I would be lucky to make it out with all toes intact, but slowly I was making my way along the short stretch of path that was left to go. In the short distance I could see Pendine Lighthouse, but pretty soon I'd be having more problems than just the path.
Well, just randomly it started raining quite heavily. It's still raining a bit, but I thought I'd take this out and say I'm walking for about 15 minutes. It's just been a bit of path. I'm not recording at the moment because I don't want to get the camera wet, which it currently is. So yeah, I'm going to put it back and keep on walking. Okay, it was raining for maybe 20 minutes. You maybe missed a bit of path and maybe one cliff. Once again, this is the only place with good signal, so I managed to message my aunt and uncle, and I'm staying with them in St Justway. So we got a sofa tonight, which is amazing, something I've wanted about 10 days, and a shower. Mate, pure and zappy. I said to meet them at Cape Cornwall, which is by St Just. I should get there, I said about 8:30, so fingers crossed I make it there, otherwise he said he can pick me up anytime, any place. So we're bowling. Pure and zappy, just don't break an ankle.
So with a clear goal and time to reach today, and a sofa waiting for me, I kept one eye on the rocky path and one eye on my finishing point in the distance. I was now only just over 3 miles away from my finishing point of the day, and approaching the St Just stretch, with the highest concentration of old Cornish mines on the whole coast path. It was only fitting that I'd see two chuffs, Cornwall's national animal, next to the first mine of this path in Levant, which operated from 1820 to 1930, with its mine shaft going 1.5 miles under the sea and 1 mile out. I also spotted the turn-off for Giva Tin Mine, the largest preserved mining site in the whole of the UK, and had a look around.
for a minute on the best part as well. It's sad, but yeah, must do. It does keep stopping and starting, so I'm going to try and film when I can, and when it does rain I'm going to put this away, but I'll try and get the best bits for you.
With the wind and the rain getting heavier, I started picking up the pace. At this group of mines is where I met my uncle, and from here we kept on walking, past even more old mining sites, including a whole valley full of them, towards Cape Cornwall in the near distance. And after clinging on to the steep cliff paths, we eventually made it down into Cape Cornwall, where we drove back to his and I had my first shower and place to sleep in 9 days, ending day 26.
Right, we're off. And it's raining and it's windy.
The day started with torrential wind and rain, but wanting to make it my last wild camp tonight, I decided to push on with my waterproof camera and head for Land's End.
Stopped raining, at least for a minute. We're about a mile and a bit away from Cape Cornwall where we started. We've probably got about 4 miles to Land's End, which is the big one. I'm not too bothered by the rain, it was more just not trying to damage all my camera equipment, but yeah, I'm fine. Walking down these hills with my feet, it's a bit difficult, but we're having fun.
Keeping away from the deadly mine shafts, which can be around 500 metres deep around here, I kept on moving forward, battling the elements, with the village of Scilly next in my sights. After making my way through the rocky path for a while, only around the corner I could see the first of 2 beaches that would lead me into the next village, so I picked up the pace, hoping to grab some food there. Throughout the whole trip, I hadn't spotted an adder, so it was pretty cool to see an adder breeding ground. After already walking 5 miles today in the bipolar weather, I was only 1¼ miles away from Land's End, so I started walking through the town and went into Smart Surf School for some food. One of their staff recognised me from the walk and offered me some free fish and chips, so I accepted their kind offer and had a nice chat with them whilst enjoying the foggy view, before heading back off towards Land's End. Sennan was originally a busy fishing village, with its name honouring the Saint Sennan, and later grew as a popular smuggling cove. It was also the landing site for Peter Warbeck, a challenger to the throne who started a short Cornish rebellion, and is today most known for its beach and surf. It was at this point when the rain started pouring down again and I had to switch camera, which was annoying as I wanted to explore the shipwreck nearby, RMS Molheim, one of around 140 shipwrecks near Land's End that wrecked in 2003. But with the rain I decided not to and pushed on towards Land's End in the near distance. Back with my good camera in hand, Land's End was only a short walk away. And before long I had made it into the site. Land's End is the most southwesterly point of mainland Britain and is a huge tourist attraction, as well as being the start or finish point to the popular Land's End to John O'Groats journeys. I had thought about starting this adventure here, but decided St Michael's Mount was more iconic. Walking through, I saw the sign which most people take their photo with, and then grabbed a cold drink for a quick rest before continuing back on, with the rain coming down again.
Okay, it's been raining quite heavily for about half an hour. I've been getting some film on my GoPro. It seems to have cleared up for at least a moment. So yeah, I'll use this one and I can always hide it in the bag.
I was now on my way to Nanjizzle, the next beach on the path. The wind was definitely picking up, and I found myself constantly fighting against it, not to mention how bad it was going to get when we were at the top of the next hill. Walking past, the foam spouting from this small cove caught my eye. To make you truly appreciate just how windy it was, I took this short video. And battling it, I headed onwards towards Porthgora and Porthcurno. I was now heading into Minack Theatre, which was built block by block as a passion project by Rowena Cade, with its first performance all the way back in 1932 and growing into one of the top attractions in Cornwall today. I couldn't see quite into the site from the coast path, but had to carry on walking down this very sketchy staircase that led to Porthcurno Beach. I mean, just look at it. Just as I got to the top of the cliffs, it started raining again, so I took cover under this convenient building and pulled out my waterproof camera. Apologies for possibly the shakiest filming ever, but at least my good camera was safe in its bag.
I don't really care about the rain anymore. It's kind of fun, kind of different. So yeah, let's keep going. Back on the main camera, hopefully, for at least a minute. It's been raining on and off for about 20 minutes, maybe a bit longer, but we're doing pretty good progress. Just past Pedden Vounder Beach, which is one of the best beaches in Cornwall, apparently rated. Kind of cool, but the tide was up anyway, so you couldn't really see it. But yeah, we're trying to get to the Morna today, and we're making good stead for it to be there quite early, so happy in the progress, and yeah. Woo! That right there is the Scilly, which is the boat we're going to be catching in a couple of days to go to the Isles of Scilly. It's probably just coming back now, and I'll be on that boat really soon.
Looking forward to going to the Isles of Scilly for the first time, I carried on to the next cove, knowing that tomorrow I'll be back at home. By this point, from the on and off showers all day, my feet for the second time of the trip were squelching, and with every step I could feel puddles moving around my boots. Thankfully though, I had reached the next little village of Penberth, which I headed straight through to cover as much distance as I could today. Penberth was a traditional small pilchard fishing village, owned by the National Trust since 1957, and today, like a lot of other villages down this stretch of the coast path, maintains a much smaller but still active fishing operation.
Very overgrown here. This whole bit of coast path past Penberth, that's a tongue twister, is very overgrown. It's like dangerously overgrown. If you step a foot there, you're going off a cliff. And I'm having to look at the floor and try to keep on track.
I was now on one of the lesser walked parts of the coast path, which was evident from the lack of people and the unkept bushes which I had to wade through to make my way along. What came next was not something I expected to see nor capture. Just as the rain was picking up again, I spotted a deer in the field below.
I'm having to swap again because it's raining. Love it. Haven't got loads left, maybe like an hour and a half, something like that. It's about 8:15, which is good because hopefully it would have stopped raining and I can put the tent up when it's just turning dark. Let's hope. Both my feet currently feel like they've got puddles in them, which hasn't happened for a while. And considering I'm wearing full waterproof and my boots supposed to be, kind of weird, but I suppose it kind of makes sense with the weather today. Currently going through a little woodland. Kind of weird, there's like houses, but they're on the side of cliffs and there's no roads. Bit weird.
Up next was this horror of a path, which wasn't made any safer with the rain.
This is very unsafe, and for some reason my other camera broke, so I kind of have to use this one in between the rain, and I'm a bit bamboozled at the moment. Okay, we made it past, but that was definitely, especially with this rain, one of the most dangerous parts of the trip so far. I was kind of slipping on some of them. It's mental, yeah. Not safe, don't recommend that bit, but anyway. On we go. Okay, the time is now 20 to 8 and the mood's kind of dropped. Over the last like 2 hours I've kind of just been, I was all happy before, but now I'm not unhappy, but I just feel weird and my feet are soaked and I don't really want to walk another 2 miles to Lamorna, which may take another hour. So I'm going to probably go in this little wood bit behind me and then wake up normal time, get to Penzance, and all will be good. That's the plan.
So after a rather weird and sudden end to the day, I looked for a camp spot in the neighbouring woods.
Okay, it's been a bit of a weird end to the day. Not how I expected it to be, but it is raining. It's probably going to end now, knowing my luck. But it's been raining and I don't really want to walk much more, especially with my feet being all wet and everything being wet. So it's probably been the worst day for weather actually, but yeah. I can get some sleep. It's about 9 o'clock and I shall see you tomorrow for the last day before we go to Scilly's and then finish the loop. So I shall see you tomorrow. Good morning from the last camping spot on the Cornish mainland. I stopped a bit early yesterday just because my feet were literally drenched. My whole foot was wrinkled. It was not very nice. We have maybe 10 miles today till we get back home, which is amazing. We got a decent stretch from Lamorna to Marazion is where I grew up. I've done that stretch 1,000 times before, so I know my way. I won't need a map. Hopefully from Mousehole to Penzance it's basically flat as well, so should be easy going today. I usually do 15 to 20 miles to 10 miles. It's going to be nothing. It's about 9 o'clock by the time I take the tent down. Might be 9:30, so I reckon we'll get back by 5ish maybe. So good said, I can, go back to the pub, see my mates, everything will be amazing. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Let's take the tent down. Okay, the time is bang on 9:30 and I want to get home because I've got a homemade pasty waiting for me. You don't know how looking forward to this I am. So I can get a move on, get home, have a sleep, have everything, not be in the woods. Let's go.
So thoroughly looking forward to getting back home and in my bed, and thankful it wasn't raining, I headed out of the woods and back on the final stretch of today's path to Penzance Harbour. After a much more pleasant walk than yesterday morning, I made it to Tatadoo, Cornwall's most recently built lighthouse, meaning Black Loaf in Cornish, and after having a look around, I headed back off and around the corner towards Lamorna Cove.
We're so close to Lamorna, I can see it. Before this trip, I would have told you that Lamorna was my favourite place in Cornwall, but now, I'm not sure. It's still amazing, but yeah, it's making me smile seeing it. But after that, it's literally maybe another mile, and then it's flat the whole way back, which is polar opposite to what we've been doing recently, basically rock climbing, so looking forward to it.
Lamorna has been known for many things, including classic smuggling and fishing, but also as a granite quarry from the medieval period until 1911, with its granite being used in many Cornish lighthouses, Penzance Pier, and even Scotland Yard in London. Today, you might say it's a hidden gem, and has grew over time as an artist colony. You can also find hours of entertainment looking for videos of their strict parking policies. Lamorna is also one of the biggest hotspots for hiking accidents in Cornwall, so I kept my eyes on the path.
Look what I can see. Where we started 28 days ago.
For the first time in 28 days, in the distance I could see the glimpse of St Michael's Mount, which gave me some extra strength to push on back home. At this point, it was starting to hit me what I'd actually accomplished. Through the fun, the pain, and the endless walking, I had just about finished walking the entire Cornish coast path. Something that after the struggles on day one seemed way too far in the distance, but here I was, approaching the first village of Mounts Bay where I grew up. And before long, I was reaching a childhood favourite abandoned coastguard. Mousel, frequently pronounced wrong, is a historic fishing village, dating back to at least the 13th century, when it was the main port in Mounts Bay. During 1595, Mounts Bay was attacked by the Spanish Armada, and amongst damage in nearby towns, Mousel was entirely destroyed bar one house, and rebuilt since, leading to today, where it is dominated by second homes and tourism. And now I was on the completely flat home stretch that reaches all the way back to Marazion, which I would walk to Penzance Harbour today, and then after going to the Isles of Scilly would walk the remaining stretch to St Michael's Mount. Newlyn has long been Cornwall's largest fishing port and one of the UK's, still operating at a high capacity, unlike a lot of other old fishing towns, and the UK's reference tide level is taken from here. In the late 19th century, Newlyn also developed a school of artists, which helped diversify the local economy. Safe to say that the seagulls love it here, and I made my way through to find a special ice cream shop that I'd been craving. This is Gilbert's, a seemingly bland shop that all the locals know do the best ice cream in Cornwall. So much that their only flavour is vanilla, and I enjoyed a much missed couple of scoops on my last stretch of the day, going into Penzance. Penzance, coming from the Cornish of Penzance, meaning holy headland, is my hometown and the largest town in Penwith, with the last train stop in the country. By the 16th century, it was a thriving port and market town that grew rapidly from the 18th century with the arrival of mining wealth and the railway. Today, it's known for many things, from its buildings like Jubilee Pool and the Egyptian House to its cultural festivals like Maisie or Galawan and Montol. And I was now only around the corner from the harbour, where I'll be getting picked up to go back home before going soon to the Isles of Scilly.
This is where I'm going to leave the journey for a couple of days. This is where the Scilly lands, just on the harbour down there. So I'm going to get my parents to pick me up, so I don't have to walk a lot more. I could, but I want to save it for when I finish, so I feel a bit more, you know. So yeah, I'm going to get a lift home, which is only a couple of minutes away, and then I'll see you in a few days when I'm going to the Isles of Scilly to walk around them.
Subscribe to see the grand final of the series, where I managed to get a free return ticket for the Scilly, get behind the wheel with the captain and talk about finding Lioness, and walk around the 5 inhabited islands of St Mary's, St Martin's, Tresco, Briar and St Agnes, making friends with the locals before coming back to Penzance Harbour and walking the last few miles to St Michael's Mount, ending this unforgettable journey.